Hey, it's me, Quentin. I'm not a football player, or I didn't have any athletic career to speak of, but what is similar to some of the guys that you've been hearing on Saturday morning, that Christ is the center of my life. And I guess I'll just share a little bit of my story of how I came to know Christ. But I was raised to know right from wrong. When I was young, I think I had a good handle on what you should and shouldn't do. But as you get older, you know, the world and different things in the world seem interesting, and you kind of lose sight of what's right, what's wrong, and you compromise in different ways. And I always thought that when I was younger, I always thought that when I would hear about God or Jesus, or when someone would share with me or anything like that, I would just think that I'll get right with God. I'll get where I need to get when I get older. Right now I'm thinking about what I want to do and my thing, and what the world has to offer for me. But that seems great at the time. But I've always thought I had control of my life and my decisions. But as one bad decision after another, after a while you don't really control. I wasn't in control of my life. What was in control of my life was whatever made me forget about my problems at the time, which was drugs, alcohol, whatever, you name it. But it, and you kind of look at what you're doing at the time, and everybody else is doing it, no big deal. But then as you go down that road, down that path of sin and what the world has to offer, it only brings pain and suffering and all that. And then I tried to get out of my situation on my own strength, and of course that wasn't possible. And I just became a very angry person, a very depressed person. I'd gotten pretty much to, I guess you could say, the end of my rope. And I just felt like I wasn't going anywhere, hadn't accomplished anything by the world standards. So I didn't think a whole lot of myself. I didn't think of a whole lot of anyone, for that matter. I didn't have a lot of compassion or love for myself or for others. But I was very fortunate. God used a couple guys I met that not only went to church, but they lived out their faith on a daily basis. And just watching them and how they reacted to different situations, I could see that joy and that peace that the Bible talks about, that passes all understanding. And when I'd ask them why they were different, or why they could handle that situation, have the joy and the peace they had, they'd always point to Christ. So I started getting back into church and going with them to church, going with them to camp and different things. And God just kept trying to speak to me, using them and different pastors and things. I heard the gospel multiple times. I still kind of resisted, still kind of wanted to do my own thing, thought, well, didn't think I was worthy to be saved to begin with. But I found out through God's word that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So one night after camp, I just had enough of doing things my own way. So I just asked God to come into my life. And I'd like to say everything's been perfect since then, but life's tough, and there's ups and downs, but God's been with me through everything. And I have that hope, and I have that joy, and I have that peace that passes all understanding. My life is not about what the world thinks is successful. My life is about glorifying God. And no matter what it is, or whether it's work, or whether it's coaching basketball, or whatever it is, my desire is to glorify God in doing that. And I'm just thank y'all for the opportunity to coach, and to God be the glory.